to graduate review with our wonderful Reshape Method member, Evey Schweig. Evey, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what made you curious about joining the Reshape Method?
So thank you for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Evey Schweig. I'm a holistic health coach and inflammation specialist. So I work with individuals. I am able to do blood testing for food sensitivities to identify inflammatory foods that people might have, and then work through my program to help them get rid of those symptoms, a lot of symptoms that people don't realize that they have. So I loved your coming into your program because I think we have a lot of similar goals: to age better, to feel less pain, to have more movement, all of those things that we can achieve through holistic means rather than resorting to medications.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me, what was going on in your body that when you heard about the Reshape Method kind of piqued your interest?
Really good question. So I had a hip replacement a year ago. So I was on my way to recovery, feeling really good, but realizing that I needed a little bit of guidance, that over the years, because I had been compensating because of the problems, I still was having some imbalances. I'd been told by chiropractors and massage therapists that, that there was some imbalances going on there. So I knew that I needed to do some corrections. And, doing physical therapy, you just don't get the feedback that that I got on your program, for sure. But I knew that something was off. And again, I want to be doing things now so that I don't make other things worse in the future. Right. My hip is great now. I didn't want to throw off my other hip, didn't want to throw off my gait and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what my main incentive for coming was. How did I get there? I actually had a friend who went through your program and loved it. Yeah. So I said, all right. And I wasn't quite sure in the beginning whether did I really need this? I'm active. I do physical exercise. I exercise, right? So I'm like, well, why am I adding another exercise to this?
What exercise do you do?
So I do Pilates, a lot of Pilates and spinning. And for years, I was doing bar method as well. And then before that, I was doing yoga and swimming, and love to walk and hike and bike. So I like to do a little bit of something every day. Yeah. So I kind of think of myself as a healthy person, an active person, but realize, especially after doing your 5-day program, the walking, Reshape Your Walk, that there was a lot that I could be thinking about and getting more out of it when I was doing it. In fact, now when I'm doing my exercises, I'm thinking of all of the training that you gave me during, as I'm going through the program, and applying that to my Pilates. So it's good. The breathing methods, the alignment. I've even been telling my Pilates teacher, I really need to be doing it this way. So I learned a lot. That at first I thought, well, my gait's fine. I walk fine. I walk all the time. But boy, did I learn a lot.
Right. So you came into the program like wondering what it is that you could really learn, right? It was wonderful that you trusted your friend, that she said that this was different. What were you hoping you would learn, and what have you landed up learning? Like, what have been your big aha moments and takeaways from doing the program?
Really good question. So going into the program, I wanted to learn, well, if my gait was off, because I didn't know whether I was off or not. I mean, I in my head, I was thinking, oh, I walk properly. But having gone through the program and trying the things and doing the exercises, which is amazing because as you're doing them, they don't feel like it's overly strenuous. It's like no pain, no gain. That's not the case. This was really being mindful about the movements in the exercises and then how that magically translated into movement outside and doing other movements. So when I took my before and after photos, I was really surprised. In fact, I showed my family. I was like, "Can you believe these photos?" And my sister said, "Yeah, but in the after photo, you were trying to do stuff, right?" I said, "No, I was just standing, being myself, because I really wanted to see, did it make a difference?" And going in, my hesitation was I really didn't know if it was going to make a difference or not. And now I should be standing, but I'm sitting on my balance chair here. I can tell you that it really has made a difference. I mean, my posture is better. I feel like I've taken the weight off of the front of my body because I'm not leaning into the walk, that I really am. And I really did want to start developing my glutes and my hamstrings after the surgery, especially. So did that answer the question? I'm not quite sure. I may have gone off on a tangent.
No, that's amazing. Absolutely. Yeah. So what kind of practical things in your everyday life do you find that you are now doing differently or more easily? And this is the second part. Have you noticed a change in your gait?
So things that I'm doing differently is the most obvious thing to me is that I stop and think about how I'm balancing. And I'll do the stacking that you talk about, where, you add in these little exercises when you're standing in line or when you're talking on the phone. So I think for me, it's more that I'm including more movement out and exercise and balance than I did before. In terms of what I was doing before, it wasn't a pain point for me so much as wanting to ensure that in the future there wouldn't be a pain point.
Oh, that is so important, right? So important. Yeah.
So that, and I will say though, that what I have found is doing some of the less obvious exercises for wrist and hand, because I do have osteoarthritis, and I'm noticing, doing those exercises just, to stretch those muscles and my feet as well. Hands and feet. Okay. So hands and feet are doing much better than they were before, because I did have pain in both the hands and feet before. So I would say that I notice less and, more mobility with those, which is great.
Amazing. And do you feel that, because we doing this interview, if people are watching it, at another point in time, we are running the Fall Walking Challenge. So maybe tell people a little bit about how walking is taught and incorporated in the Reshape Method.
So you could probably do that better than I can. No, it really is. I was impressed, though, that there was so much other things to learn, that walking is kind of at the core of it, but that I started thinking about other things. I started thinking about breathing and sleeping and stress. So, and incorporating all of those into it. But what it did the program allowed me to do was get walking into my routine. So I got back to saying, okay, I'm going to walk in the morning. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to walk in the middle of the day. I'm going to take a break and walk again in the evening, and incorporate that back in, realizing that is a healthy form of exercise, that is a natural way for the body to move. And, as opposed to doing a Pilates or a bar method where you're only moving the muscles a certain way, even the idea of incorporating and walking on softer surfaces versus harder surfaces, and challenging your body, so that walking is challenging you, and you can challenge your walk by including all of these different things.
Yeah, absolutely. So how would you describe the Reshape method to a friend?
So I've tried it so many times because I've talked about it so many times to my friends. And it always comes out differently. But basically, the word reshape, I started talking about it as a walking program. It's so much more than that. It's basically about alignment. So body alignment, body awareness, and developing skills in that you can take into the future that will help you age better into the future. So when I'm working on my exercises, I'm not doing it just to strengthen muscles. I'm doing it to align the bones of my body and align my muscles and get muscles that have fallen asleep to reactivate.
Right, because we can be working muscles in the bar class or the Pilates class, getting the muscle. But if your brain can't find that muscle while you are moving, it's like that muscle is not even there, right? And this is how we land up with injuries. They often either overuse injuries or underuse injuries. That is a lot of what pain is about as we age. So I love that you say you're feeling like better into your hands and your feet. And are you feeling stronger through your hips, right? Because I know that was a big motivating factor for you joining the program. And what were you surprised to learn about when it came to your hip strength?
So good question. Just coming off of surgery, there was a lot of repair that was going on. But even during this time period, oh, by the way, during this time period, I did go to Galapagos and Machu Picchu. So there was a lot of movement that was involved there, and never a painful moment. It really was impressive. And I did find that one of the reasons why I went into the surgery was because I felt a weakness, not necessarily a pain, but a weakness in my stability and the power that I had in my hips that I feel that I have back now. I feel like I, can go up and down stairs, effortlessly, even at high altitudes. Yes, I mean, I just feel like it's that confidence that comes with that I didn't feel before. I was feeling old because I was feeling like I didn't have the energy behind the walk. So I would say that that's probably where I feel it. I definitely can feel the muscles firing now. I definitely can feel the muscles wrapping around the torso, the core, which I was very surprised that never been taught that before, doing Pilates, doing the bar method. It was implied, but no one ever got to the point where I understood it. So now I understood. I can, when I exhale, I can mindfully contract that girdle.
Right. So let's explain to people a little bit of what that is, right? Because breath and core work is a big part about what we do in the Reshape method, but we teach it very, very differently. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that, right? In terms of, and also how the private sessions, what it feels like to have a private session.
Yeah. I found the private sessions to be very helpful, because you can listen to somebody and you can try doing it, but you're not quite sure you're doing it quite right. So I found in our private sessions that it was like aha moments, like just little tweaks. And you could, even through Zoom, you were seeing what I was doing and I got it, for the first time. It's like, oh, that's what they mean when they say that. Right. So yes, I mean, I found that I think I would have gotten a lot out even without the private sessions, but there was that higher level of aha moments that, in that short amount of time, it came through in a way that I hadn't been able to understand it before. I mean, the idea of you seeing how I stand and say, okay, just do this little tweak now and see how that feels. What did you feel when you did that? Oh, yeah, that does feel different. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I might have just said it felt different because I knew it was supposed to feel different. But but no, truthfully, it really did make a difference in how I understood the message that you were trying to get across. Amazing. And getting across. Yeah.
And now that your core is really firing properly and the way it's meant to, right? What difference has that made to things like your Pilates?
Oh, I get so much more out of it. So I feel like I get more of a workout. I feel like I'm more balanced and I'm more mindful because I'm thinking about it. And when you put your mind to it, you get so much more out of it. So rather than just going through the motions, I'm actually thinking about the specific muscles. Am I firing that? Am I in alignment? So now I know that the effort that I'm doing is actually doing the work I want it to, rather than just saying, okay, did my workout, check that off. Which is very similar to what you're saying with the walking, that rather than just getting that walk done. And by the way, getting out and walking, the mindfulness that comes with that is healing as well. And that's something that when I talk with my clients about, healing and how to, inflammation and stress, getting out in nature is the stress level just goes down immediately. So, not only are you getting out and, physically moving, you're also getting a mental release as well.
I love it. And I love that you've really been able to incorporate that, right? Because we kind of, I know everybody's short on time. I love, first of all, that you're really getting bang for your exercise back when you go to your Pilates class now, because now you know where your cheats and compensations are. You know what the teacher is saying when the teacher says, like, engage your core, which is really so much more difficult to do than we think. We think that we're doing it right. I know I certainly was, but to be able to really nail it does require your body to be in alignment. And most of us are out of alignment. And just for that walk to be able to be so much more beneficial for your body and to get the benefits of being outside and the rumination of that, so important. So I love that is really all coming together for you. So what would you say to people who are maybe on the fence, who are considering doing the Reshape method? I know that your hesitation was that you were concerned about what you would actually get out of it. Right. So what do you have for people, any advice you have for people who are on the fence?
Do it. You know what? You're always thinking about, you're worth it. You're worth it to put the money into it, to do this for yourself, because it's your life. And if you're not investing in yourself, you can't help others, and you won't be able to do all those things that you want to be doing, all those things on your bucket list, or being with the family, or working efficiently. So it is. And truthfully, it's been hard for me to come to that realization. I, for years, would look like, what's the bottom line, and I'm realizing now that the bottom line is my health and how I feel and my attitude towards things, which is dictated by how I feel. So yeah, I would just say it is worth the investment. You are worth it. You're worth investing in yourself.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. It is just absolutely wonderful having you in the program. And if people want to know what Evey means about her before and after pictures, Evey has kindly let me put them up on my website, because really a picture says 1,000 words. And this work that we do in the Reshape method is very subtle, right? The change of alignment is very subtle. So thank you, Evey, for giving me permission to share your before and after pictures, because often, as you said, we don't even know. We think that things are off, but we're not sure what it is and exactly where it is. But as you say, seeing the changes that just naturally and effortlessly happened in your body, right, just by hitting
Absolutely.
play, is incredible. So thank you so much for coming to chat with us.
My pleasure.
And look forward to seeing more of your reshaping journey.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
All the best. Bye.